All right, folks, in this video, we're going to talk XRP Ledger AMM expectations. I know it's being construed that this is going to be the next flip of the switch moment for the XRP community. Although we would all love that, I think we need to be realistic. We need to take a look. I got the Stellar Network AMM pulled up right now, giving us a little bit of perspective on what could potentially be coming for the XRP Ledger, and really just setting realistic expectations. I'm going to start with the bullish sentiment, though. Long term, this is incredibly bullish. I firmly believe that. This is not going to be AMM goes live and we go to 589, but this is a critical piece of infrastructure that's being added to the decentralized exchange that's built into the XRP Ledger. Now, for those of you guys that don't know what I just said, let's break this down. The XRP Ledger, right, the blockchain, the network, it has a decentralized exchange that's built into it. So instead of having to go to these centralized exchanges, you can use the XRP Ledger itself. The problem that we have right now on the XRP Ledger is that we don't have really a lot of issuers and a lot of tokens on the XRP Ledger yet. In the conversations that I've had now, what I'm picking up on, and when you go look at the DEX, you can see that GateHub is primarily the largest issuer that we have right now on the XRP Ledger as far as issuing stablecoins, USD, a bunch of other tokens. I forget, if you go to like Zaman Wallet, you can go look and see how many tokens they've issued. And it's by and large the biggest issuer on the XRP Ledger. But speaking of issuers, I believe that we're going to get a lot better talent, a lot better caliber of issuers coming to the XRP Ledger with the most recent amendment that got passed, the clawback, which is set to go live actually, I think in the next 48 hours. So after the clawback goes live, this is a necessity for many issuers to issue a token on a blockchain. They need to have the clawback capabilities. So once we get that implemented, that's one step in the right direction. And as I was saying with the AMM, another critical piece of infrastructure that makes the DEX more efficient. And this is very, very simple. We got to break this up though. Many people confusing the AMM with staking. This is not staking. Staking is basically setting your assets with somebody else's collateral, and then they're going to take your assets and do loans. They're going to do something with it, and then they're going to spit you out a return. Maybe it's a 5%, maybe it's a 10%, maybe it's an 80,000% time wonderland decentralized Ponzi scheme, which is basically what we had in the DeFi craze the last couple years, right? A bunch of unsustainable decentralized Ponzi schemes. That's what DeFi was in a nutshell. Now, there's going to be scams. There's going to be decentralized Ponzi schemes basically on the XRP Ledger. There already is a bunch of tokens with no utility, and they're just going to put them into liquidity pairing on the AMM, and there you have it. So we're going to have to watch out. We're going to have due diligence, but this AMM, critical piece of infrastructure, along with some of the other utilities coming our way, that long-term has me incredibly bullish. The day that the AMM goes live, price might go down. Maybe, we get to buy the rumor, sell the news event. This is typical of any market, not just crypto, but even in equities too, where you get a big run up based off of announcement and then price drops off. So I wouldn't be surprised at all if we saw XRP fall off after the AMM goes live. But with that being said, long term, it's putting us in, and it's keeping us on that long-term bullish trajectory. Now, I pulled up some stats here from the Stellar Network DEX, just to give us some reference points on what could be coming to the XRP Ledger. So their DEX right now, they're touting that they have about 14 million worth of liquidity available right now. The largest pair by far is XLM USDC, and the USDC that's issued on Stellar Network is issued by Circle. And that's what I'm talking about. So Circle already chose to issue on the Stellar Network, and the partnership that they have with Stellar is tremendous. And Stellar's really been helping them push with all these money service providers to accepting USDC issued on the Stellar blockchain. That's massive. And so that is by far the biggest pairing on the DEX, the AMM on the XLM Stellar one. And it's about 4 million. But when you look at the volume on it, it's really not even that impressive. Only about 29,000 in volume over the last 24 hours, which is down about 37%. So you're talking 40, 50,000 in daily volume right now. And then $87 in fees, which is also down 37%. But still, you're talking about $100 in fees paid to those that are providing liquidity in this pooling. that's pretty abysmal, right? Like what's 100 XLM, going to do for us? Or I guess that's $100 worth of fees been paid, right? So you get the point though, right? Until we see, and this is the big wild card that I'm going to throw in here for you guys on the XRP ledger, is we see by and far the biggest pooling is with USDC. That's a big part of the partnership between Stellar and Circle. And what I believe that we're going to see is Ripple has already announced that they're moving some of their on-demand liquidity flows to the DEX, right? They announced that before the AMM was even set to go live. They announced that we are moving some of our on-demand liquidity flows, which have been moving through centralized exchanges. We're going to be moving them over to the decentralized exchange built into the XRP ledger, which is why many of the haters and the fudsters of XRP have been saying that ODL doesn't move price, because basically ODL flows have been OTC transactions by centralized exchanges and market makers. Now, what gets exciting for me is when Ripple steps up here with some of their on-demand liquidity partners and they start to issue currencies on the XRPL DEX, and then they start to ramp up the volume in the AMM, right? So you got tens of billions worth of ODL flows that if just, a part of that moves to the DEX, that's where this gets interesting, right? Where we go from, what do they have, 14 million worth of liquidity in the Stellar DEX to getting up into the billions. And that's going to take time. Once again, that's not going to happen on day one. But this is the wild card, I think, when we look at all the other layer 2 AMMs built on top of Ethereum, all the other AMMs out in existence, it's all retail trading. Retail only gets you so far. At the end of the day, we want to see developers of all shapes and sizes have the tools to build, right, on the network. But as far as getting the price appreciation that many are hopeful of, if we don't get the institutions, the retail will only move it so far. So when we're looking here at the expectations, for me, let me back up here real quick to the AMM overview. 14.3 million worth of liquidity, and the volume is only 252,000. So over the entire DEX for Stellar, the AMM, that's built into the DEX on Stellar, the entire volume for the last 24 hours is only about 250,000. That's nothing, guys. It's absolutely nothing. That's not going to move the needle in a major way. And, the fees paid out in the last 24 hours is only 756. So out of all the liquidity that they have over there and everyone that's participating in the AMM on Stellar, you're only having $750 worth of fees paid out, less than $1,000. It's down 15% in the last 24 hours. So still less than $1,000 in fees paid out in the last 24 hours. Now, this is only with 14 million worth of liquidity. You start to times it, right, by 100 when you're talking hundreds of millions. You're going to times that by 1,000 if you're talking about billions. And the math just continues, right? And obviously, for me, it's always been the $1 trillion problems are what turn me on. And what I'm looking at eventually is, do we ever cross the threshold of, billions, hundreds of billions, and trillions of dollars being settled on the XRP ledger? And not all of that has to be settling through the AMM. That can be settling on the DEX across the board. But you get my point. And so as far as the return that we're getting, when you look at some of these pairings, the most stable pairings have the least amount of yield. So for example, XLM USDC that has 4 million worth of liquidity tied up in it, you're getting less than 1%. You're getting about 76%. And then if you go to Aqua Finance, which is one of the AMM, I guess, providers on the DEX, sorry, I don't want to get my terms confused there. Aqua is one of the market makers, I guess, that's utilizing the AMM built on Stellar. And so if you're using Aqua, you can get 0.87 to 2.18%. So it actually gives you right here on the fees, it gives you, I think, the average one, and then it shows you in purple the Aqua fee as well. So like on XLM USDC, you're at 0.76, but on Aqua, you can be up to 2.18. So still, the point being, the fee is relatively low that you're making on a pairing like XLM USDC that is relatively stable. Now, when you slide on down, XLM Stronghold, okay, that is at 12.5%. The other day when I was looking at this, it was up to about 15%. And XLM Stronghold only has about 700,000 worth of liquidity and $88,000 in volume over the last 24 hours, with $265 worth of fees in the last 24 hours. So, 200 something dollars worth of fees. We only have $750 worth of fees on the Stellar AMM total. So the Stronghold XLM, because you have two volatile, tokens in that pairing, that's spitting off the best yield. But obviously that gives you more exposure to impermanent loss, right? When that liquidity pool gets out of balance. So I just wanted to show you guys, that for perspective, to maybe, bring us down to a realistic expectation, but still having that long-term perspective that remains incredibly bullish. I'm not going to underplay it. I'm not going to, sit here and, AMM's not going to be a flip of the switch. Let me be sad. It's like people want to just bring down the energy for no reason, right? Oh, all these influencers and shillfluencers are getting too excited. Well, I'm going to keep on getting excited because the fundamentals that I see are fantastic. So I don't know what other guys are getting excited about, shilling crap. I don't shill crap. So, I can't speak for anybody else other than myself. For me, this is one of the key critical utilities that's now coming to the XRP ledger. And this is the DeFi that's coming to the XRP ledger. One of the three reasons why I'm so bullish. We have legal clarity. We have the DeFi that's coming to the XRP ledger. And we have Ripple, which is now going to be going live in the USA. So maybe you saw my video earlier, Ripple XRP in the USA. They're set to be going live. And, they already have a few partners that have been listed out here in the United States. We know that they have old partners like Bank of America. The rumors that were circulating was that, partners like Bank of America were waiting to use XRP for a competitive advantage after the lawsuit was done. That's yet to be seen, but let's see how that plays out. But once again, this isn't a flip of the switch moment, but this is putting us on the right trajectory. And, it's like everybody wants to calm us down, right? We God forbid we get excited about XRP. It's not that we're waiting for it to go to $100. Even if XRP goes to $5 to $10, that's a very good investment opportunity right now. Not that I'm here to be anybody's financial advisor, but I mean, when you go from 50 cents to $5, that's an all right return, right? So even if that's the trajectory that we're on, that's something to get excited about, right? I just, once again, as we've been saying, stay focused right now and control your energy, because there's a lot of people that want to drag us down. God forbid we get excited about this thing, right? And we want to balance that. We want to stay realistic. We can look at other blockchains and see how that program's working out. Once again, Solana went down again today, okay? One other quick update that I wanted to give you guys is that Ripple did ask for an extension on the discovery phase of remedies, a 1-week extension from February 12th to February 20th. And we covered this yesterday. I'll be going more in depth on the legal aspect of this here in another video. We just saw earlier today Janet Notel and Yellen saying to Congress that we need crypto regulation. So we're going to talk more on the law here in another video. But watch for this to now be pushed back another week. And this is Ripple has to turn over the financial statements from 2022, the on-demand liquidity contracts that occurred after the lawsuit to institutional sales. And then the third and final point is that they have to give up basically the proceeds. How much did they make off of those ODL sales as well? So SEC gets to get up in there and really take a good hard look at, Ripple's business, ODL, the success that it has been or hasn't been. And I think even when the redacted documents come out, it is going to give us more insight into Ripple's business, how successful they've been with ODL. And I'm always a fan of let all truth be revealed. So if there's something that they didn't want to get out, it's going to come out now. At this point, obviously they can redact names, they can redact numbers. And so we will be limited in that scope. But as the community always does, we'll be able to piece together the riddle and get a little bit more insight into that. So that will be fascinating. The good news, folks, is that this is set to be behind us. Later this year, we get this case behind us. The DeFi has arrived. Ripple firing up operations here in the United States. Ripple moving on-demand liquidity flows from centralized exchanges to the DEX. This starts to get excited, and I think that we have plenty of momentum behind us. Excuse me. I know a lot of people want to, keep on bringing us down. I'm just not. I have no interest in that. I'm waking up every single day. Sun was shining today, decided to get on outside here. This is fantastic. The vibe is incredible if you get detached from all these negative groups, these negative people. Not to say that we don't have sympathy for the times getting tough out there. Absolutely understand that. But, you know, this is why we've been talking about for the last few years, how's your program working out? Not just holding XRP, hoping and praying that it's going to save our day. We have other investments. We're running our businesses. We're staying in the game, staying active, continue to take action, controlling our energy, staying focused, and we are bringing order to this chaos before us. If you guys appreciate what we do here, you know what to do. I appreciate everyone for stopping by, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. God bless.